I feel mainly it's focused towards females within our society rather than men, but men also have a very projected image.
If you're talking about like movies, yeah, obviously sex sells.
Everyone pictures the perfect like American girl.
You gotta have a perfect hourglass figure.
Super skinny,
Thick thighs, tiny waist.
with a thigh gap.
You know, big boobs.
You got big boobs.
You have to be totally unproportioned.
And I've never really fit that body image.
My name is Alexa Pasquale. I am 17 years old. I grew up in Southern California, and I hope to one day become an actress. As far back as I can remember, acting has always been the goal. I spent the majority of my time watching movies, so there was constantly that influence on my life. I didn't think anything of those movies other than they make me happy. I didn't realize until more recently in my lifetime the subconscious effects that were taking a toll on me. Around the age of 5 is when I can really remember body image issues entering my life. I can remember going to school and being upset that I wasn't as small as the other girls in my class. I can remember getting in fights with my mom when we'd go clothes shopping because I couldn't stand the idea of trying on clothes that didn't fit and having to stare at myself in the mirror while doing so.
You know, when you're at the grocery store and there's magazines, there's pictures of skinny people and how they lost all their weight and transformed their lives.
Now with Photoshop, women's figures and the way they look is actually 100% unobtainable.
I compare myself to many people, particularly there's a lot of actors.
And like they'll post body positive photos, and I understand that it's a great thing for them, but they're always of their perfect body, and I don't look like that.
It didn't really click in my head until later that I had made this correlation as a young child. I was really drawn to Disney movies, and Disney princesses in specific. I always loved that their lives went from dreary to extravagant. I would look at the Disney princesses and think, well, what did they do to get that? They all carried the same kind of body shape. And so I can remember thinking at 5 years old, I need to be thin and pretty so a boy can like me and I can be happy. That mentality only grew as I did. Honestly, all I saw was the same body type all over the place. So I figured I needed that to be successful. I wanted to go out and follow my dreams, and I just felt like my appearance was holding me back. And to an extent, your appearance is something you can't change. My weight, however, was something that I knew I could change.
The point of the media is stressing this idea of this single centralized body image. It's just that is almost unobtainable for all women, and except the vast minority, and those generally suffer from horrible eating disorders.
By the age of 14, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna be healthier. And honestly, that was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I was feeling better, I had more energy, and people started to take notice. I'd get a lot of compliments, but there was always a caveat to those compliments. It was always, wow, you look beautiful, have you lost weight? So I thought, well, you know, for the first time in my life, I'm getting a huge amount of positive reinforcement, so I need to keep going. So I began cutting back calories. And while this may have been healthy to a point, with the amount of hours I was spending on physical activity, I was not eating enough. Nobody really noticed it as a severe problem until I stopped my life completely. It would give me anxiety to think about missing a workout day or eating food that was higher than a certain amount of calories. I couldn't do it. At this point, my mom who had an eating disorder herself, saw the signs and wanted to put a stop to it. So she wanted me to go through therapy. And in order to do that, I had to make a doctor's appointment. And when I went to the doctors, they weighed me. And I had saw that I had gained weight, not lost. At that point, I knew what I was doing was unhealthy, but I no longer cared. I remember acting like I was okay around other people. I would go out with friends and family again. I would always make sure to squeeze in a workout beforehand or after, so I was missing a lot of sleep at this point. And if I would go to these family events, I would eat, but I would feel immense guilt afterwards. And I can remember the day that I would say that I finally realized things needed to change. I had gone over to one of my best friend's houses, and we were having a sleepover, and teenage girls like to eat junk food and watch movies during sleepovers. And I was trying to force myself to enjoy my time, but I went to bed that night with an insane headache, immense anxiety, and I couldn't wait to get home the next day. So I had gone home that morning. I remember I drove myself, and I walked in the door and I noticed that I was home alone. So immediately, wasting no time, I ran up my stairs. I walked into my bathroom, locked myself in, and I sat on the floor and began bawling my eyes out. I always thought that I was smarter than to be bulimic. I never understood it. And in that moment, I finally did. I realized that I had what I thought at the time made a mistake, and I wanted a way to fix it. I wanted a way out. And I just remember standing up off the bathroom floor and looking at myself in the mirror. And I just saw someone who was so broken. I could see the dark circles around my eyes, and I could feel pain. And I finally realized that I couldn't keep doing this to myself. I think everything really started to look up once I decided to get help. I realized that there's always been a specific body type idealized. The body type that you're born with can't be changed. Obviously, you can gain muscle, lose weight, there's ways to manipulate it, but there's always different structures to everyone's bodies, and they shouldn't be in and out of trend like it's a fashion. People deserve to see the truth, and the truth isn't one body type photoshopped to look the best it's ever looked. I believe that they deserve to see the fact that people have flaws. So from this point forward, I decided that I wanted to use the career that I wanted to go into, acting, as a platform to inspire others and to let other people know that they have worth despite the cookie cutter image out there. They can be successful without obtaining that. And I believe that even though it sounds cliche, with simple little everyday things, each person can help make a difference in somebody else's life to feel as though they can be comfortable in the skin that they're in.